Alpha M, what are you doing here? So I've given Alpha M some praise in the past and, said some good things about some of the messages that he has given in the past. But this time he's making a video about penis size and how to make it bigger. And it's 10 ways to make your penis bigger. And I'm thinking, I've already gone over this. Penis size is not as important as people think it is because the physical stimulation side of sex is not as important as people think it is. It is mainly about the psychological stimulation that you can provide, how horny you can make your partner, how aroused you can make your partner, how passionate you can make that experience. And you do that through dirty talk and foreplay and building anticipation throughout the day, things like that. You don't do that by having a huge penis and penetrating your partner's vagina in the right way in order to, do whatever that's gonna do. Now, I will say the physical part of sex is also extremely important. You can't just have sex without that physical part. Otherwise, it's not sex, it's just like dirty talking with no other context. But I will say, that being said, since the physical part is not the most determining factor of sexual pleasure, then you don't have to worry about the size of your penis if you can provide a sexual experience that is psychologically engaging and exciting and fun and passionate. So when I see Alpha M putting this video out, it gets me a little bit upset because it's basically amplifying the stress, the anxiety people have for having a below average size penis, or not even below average size penis, but just to them it is below average and it's not good. And so by giving all these tactics, these outs, if you will, of really, some of them are pretty invasive and risky, I would say, not recommended by me, by giving all of these options to increase your penis size, you're basically sending the message to everyone that this is something that can be fixed and something that possibly needs to be fixed. So let's go through Alpha M's video, see what he has to say about this, because to me, this is not the message that people need. A better message sexually would be how to turn a woman on, or any other host of psychological techniques, how to add variety, how to dirty talk, anything like that. Not something that is going to permanently disfigure you, possibly leave your penis completely useless. So anyway, I'm done ranting in the beginning of this video. I'll probably rant at the end. So stay tuned for that, because that's going to be awesome and exciting. But let's just watch this video and see what Alpha M has to say, how we can increase our penis size.
Gentlemen, today we're talking about your wiener. More specifically, how to make it bigger. Quick little disclaimer, if the talk of wieners or penises or junk offends you, this video is definitely not going to be for you. Also, if you are hung like a mythical beast, this video also is not for you, you son of a bitch.
So right off the bat, we have some jealousy and some kind of, I don't know, like vitriol directed to someone with a larger penis if you're hung like a mythical beast. So then again, you are saying that huge penises or penis size is an amazing thing, and it's going to solve all your sexual problems, and it's going to make you amazing in bed, and going to make you confident and love yourself and all this kind of stuff. Listen, if you have a huge penis, great. You still have to psychologically stimulate your partner. You still have to dirty talk. You cannot just rely on that to create a great sexual experience, no matter what porn may make you believe, or what society has told you, or people like Alpha M are promoting in this video.
In 2006, there was a study done where they interviewed like 52,000 heterosexual men and women. And what they found is that 55% of the dudes were unhappy with the size of their junk. But they also interviewed the women and found that 85% of them were totally satisfied. Think about that for a second. 55% of dudes, over half of us, are like, yo, it's too small. Why would we think this?
So, I mean, if that study doesn't tell you everything you need to know, I would say the 15% of women that are saying they're not satisfied with penis size have not had good sex. They've only had sex that is relying on physical technique, physical stimulation. They haven't had that experience of passion, connection, arousal and drive, anticipation, excitement. They haven't had that. And so they're saying, if all I have is physical stimulation, which I'm sorry, that's kind of a depressing way to have sex your whole life. If all you have is that, then possibly penis size won't matter for them. It's a misguided perception of how sex works. And if you are believing that sex works that way, and that's all you're doing is focusing on physical technique, then sorry, any penis surgery that you get is not going to improve your performance by that much. It's really not. You're going to be going from maybe 10% good sex to 15%. And you can even go overboard having a penis that is too big, and then that causes the opposite problem. It can cause pain and all this kind of stuff. So if you're relying solely on physical, then probably the average penis size is best, because it's not going to be painful. It's going to be suited to more people. So there's that. So the other 85% of women that say they are perfectly satisfied, that should be about 99%, I would say. But the vast majority, 85% of women, are saying that they're perfectly fine with the size. And that's not saying that those 85% of women have boyfriends or sexual lovers with 9-inch penises. That 85%, that means that there are small penises, there are big penises in there, and they're perfectly fine. Because if you can turn your partner on, you can arouse them, psychologically stimulate them, then that is all that is going to matter to them. It's not gonna matter as long as you can provide some physical stimulation, but then you're also providing this amazing psychological stimulation. There's passion, there's emotion involved. Then it doesn't matter. The more staggering thing about those statistics is that 55% of men are worried about their penis size. I would say that is probably higher, and I think some of those guys in that survey are like, I don't want to say I'm worried about it because then they might think it's small if I say I'm worried about it. So I think that's actually even underreported. I think this is pretty much an epidemic in men, that they believe that their penis is too small, because so many men these days have grown up, they've matured, and they've learned about sex through pornography. So the only penises they're seeing is their own when they look down, and then they're seeing a 12-inch monster cock on the internet, and they're thinking, wow, mine's tiny compared to that. And they're seeing this exaggerated sample of men that have been chosen to do porn because of the size of their penis, because they've determined in pornography, in mainstream pornography, that is cool, and that is what we're going to do. You have to have a big penis to do porn. I don't know. And most porn is made for men, so apparently men like to see big penises. Even if you're straight, it's kind of interesting if you think about it.
Pornography. One of the other downsides to watching porn is that we get this warped sense of what normal actually is, when the truth is that the normal male penis, and it's like, is like 5.16 inches. 90% of dudes, it is between 4 and 6 inches, which means that 10% are either a little smaller or a little bigger. Even though logically as dudes we can be like, okay, I understand that's what average is, but it doesn't matter. I'm still insecure and I still want it to be bigger because I watch movies and they're huge.
That's an amazing point that he just made, that even though we know the average is between 4 and 6, if you fall within that average, you're the same as 90% of men on this world, in the world. So there's nothing to worry about, right? Because that means 90% of women that are having sex with the 90% of men are experiencing that average penis. And 85% of them then are saying they're totally satisfied. And I think that number would go up had the other ones experienced better sex that is more psychologically stimulating and more arousing. I will say that that statistic is still not a good message, because there will be people that fall below the 4 to 6 inches. And to them, it's kind of like, well, I mean, 90% are average, so if you're that, I guess 5% is below and 5% is above. If you're in that 5%, it's kind of like, well, oh well. At least 90% of us are good. That other 5% that's below is like, yeah, whatever. You'll be fine. Yeah, just don't worry about having sex and do something else productive with your life. And I will reiterate that if you can turn your partner on, if you can stimulate them psychologically, if you're good at building anticipation and arousal throughout the day, and then when you're doing foreplay, you're dirty talking, you're whispering in their ear things that you want to do to them, and you're being sexy, you're telling them how sexy they are, they're going to lose their minds, they're going to want it done to them, and they're not going to care. By the time your penis is out there and ready to go, they're going to just be wanting it and ready to go. How many times did I say ready to go in that sentence? It happens. Anyway, so if you are in that, I'm assuming 5% that is below, your life is not over. It is fine. Just know that sexual quality is 90% psychological stimulation and it's 10% physical. As long as you are maintaining a physical stimulation, then the rest is mental. So even if your primary focus is physical, there is still going to be a mental focus. It's just if you're not working toward building that, it's just going to stay relatively low and the quality of the sex won't be as good as it could be had you bolstered that psychological stimulation and kept your partner mentally engaged and stimulated during the sex. So there you have it. If you have a smaller than average penis, then your life is not over. You can still have amazing sex. You can have better sex even than someone with an above average penis. So wrap your head around that and then stop worrying about your penis size and start worrying about what you can do to arouse your partner psychologically and stimulate psychologically rather than physically.
This is such a prevalent issue that psychologists have actually termed the small penis anxiety. There's also another term called PDD, or penis dysmorphic disorder. If you are somebody who is really preoccupied or worried about the size of their junk, guys, what I would recommend is possibly go seek therapy to deal with the issue, because some of these things that we're going to talk about in terms of the options are very risky to extremely risky.
So yeah, he's right about that. If this is a reoccurring issue for you and you have a ton of anxiety about this, so much anxiety that is affecting your sexual performance, and maybe you can't get hard or you don't even want sex because you're too embarrassed to show yourself and be vulnerable in that state, then therapy and psychology is probably a good option for you. But I will do as much as I can, and I have done as much as I can to try to convince you that their sexual pleasure is not physically focused, it is mentally focused. So if you have that mindset going into sex and you try to work as hard as you can to arouse your partner mentally and keep them mentally engaged by dirty talking and doing all those anticipation builders during foreplay, then like I said, by the time you are revealing your penis, even if you think it is suboptimal, your partner is not going to care because they just want sex at that point. They're just turned on and aroused and ready to go. Now, I am not going to get into all of the surgeries because I think that is counterproductive in my video, because I don't even want you guys to know that there is the option to increase your penis size by doing these dangerous, crazy surgeries where you could mangle your penis forever. So you go from, maybe my penis is too small, to now basically don't even have a penis because it doesn't work, or I don't feel anything, there's no sensation, or I can't get hard, or I mean, some of these things are absolutely insane. Listen, penis size is, to me, it's basically like, those are the cards you've been given. Blame your parents or your ancestors, if anything. This is not a surgery that you want to get or want to go through. Even Alpha M in this video says throughout the video that several of these surgeries, people aren't happy with the results. So don't do something drastic and commit to something so drastic and life-changing, life-altering, penis-altering. Don't do something for a 10% physical portion of sex when 90% can be manipulated and controlled by factors other than the size of your penis, by your words, by your connection to your partner, by how passionate you are to your partner and how passionate they are and how immersed they are in the experience. So don't do these drastic things for a 10% focus. Rather than that, Stop worrying about your penis size and start worrying about the other 90% of sex. So that about does it. Stop worrying about penis size. I'm sure I'm going to be making more videos in the future on this topic because it is really an epidemic. And it comes from, like I said, our conditioning and really introduction to sex, for the most part, is through pornography. And so, I mean, there are big penises in pornography, so most people can't stack up to that, and that's where the anxiety comes in, because they think that women want that, and women can only get satisfied by a huge penis, and if not, we're screwed. So I'm going to end this video with a message from Alpha M at the end of his video, which is actually a pretty good message. So there you go. Before that happens, if you like this video, found it informative, you like my message, go ahead and subscribe, leave me a like, leave me a comment, and until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye, guys.
That is where I'm going to end things, but I just want you to remember something. Guys, you are amazing, all right? I know that a lot of us are insecure about the size of our junk because we watch the movies and they're all mythical beasts and hung like donkeys. But the reality is that you are probably absolutely perfect. And the other reality, judging from the survey of 52,000, 85% of those spicy senoritas think you are just fine. The other truth is that if you are a conscientious partner, you can absolutely make up for some things that aren't like giant, like and big, by being good at other things.